Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dia Davidson. Thanks for choosing LEX 18 News at 4. Want to start with our primary day coverage here in Kentucky with my co-anchor, Angie Bevan. She joins us live from Kroger Field. Good afternoon, Angie.
Good afternoon, Dia. That's right. Here we are at Kroger Field today. You know, the blue lot here is full of cars, but it is not tailgaters this afternoon. Starting early this morning, people who wanted to come cast their ballot in person are parking here, and they're waiting in pretty long lines at Kroger Field. We want to show you some video that we got from our drone earlier today and this afternoon, where you can see long lines of people wrapping around a couple of different sides of Kroger Field. They've got 2 gates open here that voters can wait in line at. Now, of course, it's hundreds of people long. Earlier in the day, we were hearing wait times around 2 hours or so, sometimes even a little longer. A couple of people I've talked to who have cast their ballot and are coming out say if they got in line around 2 o'clock or 2:30, they waited maybe an hour and a half. So it's maybe slowing down a little bit. I would suspect that as people begin to get off work this afternoon, we could see things pick up a little bit more out here. And so far, also from the Secretary of State's office here in Kentucky, we're hearing that they are expecting a pretty good voter turnout for this primary election. Of course, this is a very unconventional primary election this year with the ongoing pandemic. Now, I'm not the only one out here from LEX 18. Catherine Collins is here at Kroger Field today as well. She joins us live now with more on how people are managing these lines.
That's right, Angie. We've been tracking how long people have been waiting here, and it does appear, as far as we can tell, that wait times are better than they were this morning. We heard, like you said, about an hour and a half at this time, and voters I talked to have mixed feelings about the wait. Some feel it's too long, while others feel it's going well, considering the challenges created by the coronavirus. Either way, though, voters are telling me they feel compelled to cast their ballot no matter the circumstances.
I think it's a large turnout because I wasn't going to come out originally because I didn't want to come down here, and I procrastinated doing the absentee ballot. But a couple of people called me and told me to come down and vote, and I had a couple campaigns call me at home to say, come on out and vote. So I kind of felt obligated.
I actually got a heads up from a friend of mine about how the lines were. So that was very helpful because prior to that, I was concerned about how the lines were going to go. So I would say people should come out and get in line for themselves. It's not as bad as I predicted it would be.
And the voters I talked to told me they felt pretty comfortable with how things were handled as far as preventing the spread of coronavirus. Now, they tell me, people are wearing masks here. They told me voting booths are spaced out appropriately, and they feel like all the precautions that were taken were good and necessary. Live in Lexington, Catherine Collins, LEX 18 News.
Okay, Catherine, thank you. And we also do want to mention that, of course, polls are open here until 6 p.m. tonight. LexTran is offering free rides to get to Kroger Field because this is the only place in Fayette County you can cast a ballot in person. So they want to make sure anybody who wants to get here can by 6 o'clock tonight. Now, over in Scott County, a touch-free election is how the Scott County Clerk, Rebecca Johnson, is describing the way she wants their primary election day voting to go. Scott County is seeing a steady trickle of in-person voting at its 2 polling locations there. 2 large rooms are available for voting at both Ann Mason Elementary and also Royal Spring Middle School, with single-use pens, free gloves, face coverings, and hand sanitizer. Johnson says voters are feeling good about the process.
The voters have been pleased that they felt they were able to come in, vote very quickly, not experiencing long lines, and feel that they were in a safe environment for conducting their voting today.
Scott County received 12,000 mail-in absentee ballot requests and had nearly 2,000 voters complete walk-in absentee voting over the last couple of weeks. All right, from here in Lexington, we now want to head over to Louisville, and that's where we find LEX 18's Conroy Deluche. He has been following along with Charles Booker's campaign today. Conroy.
Well, Angie, from the hood to the holler, that's been the campaign slogan for Charles Booker out here. He's in Louisville tonight. Now, he has gone from every corner of the state. Yesterday, he was in eastern Kentucky and participating along the way in Black Lives Matter protests and also having some rallies along the way, trying to bring up more support for his campaign, which has surged in recent weeks. Now, tonight, he's back in his hometown of Louisville. When he announced his intention to run for the Senate at the end of last year, his message to Kentuckians was that he wants Medicare for all, to end generational poverty, criminal justice reform, a Green New Deal, expanded voting rights, and to continue fighting against structural racism and inequality. That's why it has been so important to him to support Black Lives Matter protests from the hood to the holler, from Louisville and Lexington to Whitesburg, Irvin, Prestonsburg, Bowling Green, and everywhere in between. When he visited Lexington on Saturday for a Juneteenth celebration at Cheapside Park, which is a former slave trading site, he explained why he wants to fight for change, not just in Kentucky, but in Washington.
So this is a reminder that as we stand together and demand justice and accountability for Breonna Taylor, David McAtee, and everyone that's become a hashtag, that we get to the root causes of why so many communities are struggling. And we need leadership that sees that understands structural racism and inequity, and is not afraid to stand up and fight for change. Mitch McConnell won't do that. My opponents don't understand that. That's okay. I'll work with them, and we'll transform our future and win this race.
Well, Charles Booker is expected to be back in Louisville around 8:45 tonight. That's what time his campaign says he will be making an appearance here. Now, he has surged in recent weeks in fundraising and in the polls, but will that be enough to take the Democratic nomination? We won't find out tonight. We'll find out sometime in the next week. Certainly a campaign and an election unlike any other. Live in Louisville, Conroy DeLuche, LEX 18 News.
Okay, Conroy, and of course his opponent right now, experts still considering Amy McGrath the front runner in the Democratic primary. She has raised nearly $40 million in donations, so she has a lot of support behind her. But of course, it will come down to what the voters decide. Tonight, McGrath will not host a rally or an election party. Her campaign says because of COVID-19, they're going to be cautious and pass on an event with a crowd of people. McGrath supporters will not hear from her in person. But in a recent interview, McGrath said that she is hopeful the issues that she is running on resonate with voters and win her the Democratic primary. She wants changes to health care and a stronger economy in Kentucky. She says the recent protests have made it clear there is systemic racism and change is needed.
I think this is a wake-up call for all of us, and to realize that there has been long-standing problems, and that we need to dedicate ourselves to making this country a country where everybody is treated with dignity and respect.
McGrath is running on a more moderate platform. Some Democrats have criticized her for not being progressive enough. The question is, will voters give her a chance today? Well, longtime Senator Mitch McConnell has 6 Republicans and 10 Democrats that are trying to defeat him. But on this primary day, the Senate Majority Leader is actually not in Kentucky. As voters in the Commonwealth head to the polls, a spokeswoman says that McConnell is in Washington working on the Justice Act. It is proposed police reform legislation, and if passed, it would provide greater accountability, expanded use of body cameras, and more overall transparency. On the Senate floor yesterday, McConnell said the killings of Black Americans such as Breonna Taylor and George Floyd have sparked a national conversation on policing and racial injustice. Various polls show McConnell an easy winner in the race for the seat that he has held since 1985. Political experts say regardless of which Democrat wins the primary, his message will be the same.
They will try to tie this Senate contest to the national clash between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party because they know most Kentucky voters don't like the National Democratic Party.
A McConnell spokesperson said he will release a statement later this evening about today's primary. Well, Attorney General here in Kentucky, Daniel Cameron, is warning voters and warning people across the state about potential scams, some voting scams. Now, it apparently asks for ballots through text, email, and phone. The Attorney General wants everyone to know that these methods are not legal in the Commonwealth. Voters might get a call asking to vote this way. Cameron said that sometimes a scammer will ask the voter to provide personal or financial information in order to cast a vote. You are reminded to never provide personal or financial information to an unknown source. Anyone who gets a suspicious phone call about voting should call the voter fraud hotline. You see that number there on your screen? It's 1-800-328-VOTE. Anyone can report suspected election law violations like campaign violations, bribery, election fraud, and polls disruption. And be sure to count on LEX 18 to cover today's results every step of the way. We will be extending our coverage tonight with a half-hour Decision 2020 primary special. We will have expert analysis and live reports throughout the evening. We'll have all of that right after Evening Edition from 7:30 until 8. And that'll do it for me here live at Kroger Field this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Like we said, though, we will be here all evening, continuing to bring you live updates from here at Lexington's one in-person polling location. For now, Dia, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Angie, thank you so much. Now to the latest coronavirus numbers in our state. The governor reported 90 new cases yesterday, bringing the total to 13,839. According to the Department for Public Health, more than 3,500 people have recovered from the illness and more than 352,000 tests have been administered. The death toll remains at 526. More details were released today by Lexington Mayor Linda Gordon about free COVID-19 testing sites coming to the Cardinal Valley neighborhood. The move comes after the health department detected an increase in the number of COVID cases in the city's Hispanic and African American communities. The mobile neighborhood testing program will be available this Thursday and Friday at Cardinal Valley Elementary School, then on Saturday in Valley Park at the shelter. People are encouraged to walk up or drive through. Information in Spanish will be available, and bilingual staff will be on site to assist. Drive-through testing remains available 7 days a week at Walgreens on Executive Drive. Testing will continue for approximately 2 weeks or until they run out, and of course that's over in the Hamburg area. A new study by the Better Business Bureau found employment scams continue to be #1 when it comes to COVID-19 related scams. The most common scam, job offers related to reshipment of packages. Titles include warehouse redistribution coordinator or similar positions. In many cases, the study found the scammers impersonated well-known retailers like Walmart so that they appear legitimate. The BBB employment scam report shows nearly 3/4 of those who lost money to employment scams are already in financial crisis and don't have enough money to cover it. For tips on ways to avoid employment scams, visit bbb.org. And now to an LEX 18 update. A wrongful death lawsuit has been filed against a Louisville bar where a man died after a fight with a security guard. Christopher McKinney's estate filed this suit against Nowhere Bar in Louisville, claiming the bar served McKinney too much alcohol before getting into a fight with a former security guard by the name of Justin Wright. Police say McKinney was being taken from the bar because of unruly behavior. He later died from blunt force injuries. The lawsuit states Wright had anger issues and previously assaulted patrons. The complaint states police did not properly investigate the incident, and officers who worked with Wright looked out for him. A big crowd in Atlanta today saying their final goodbyes to Rashard Brooks. He was the man shot by police in a fast food restaurant parking lot. Details on the historic place where his services were held and a local celeb who helped make it happen.
Downtown is reopening, and it pays to shop there. Downtown Lexington Partnership and Central Bank has created Downtown Lex together. Shop downtown, and you could win weekly $50 gift cards or the grand prize of $500 cash. Visit downtownlex.com to learn how. The heroes at Comfort Heating and Air put up some super numbers, like Super Service Awards 10 years in a row, 12-year no-hassle replacement warranties, and new systems as low as $89 a month. Super numbers from a super company. Call the Comfort Man today, and I'll be on my way.
What's your case really worth? With decades of data and an army of 3,000 strong, I think we have a competitive advantage. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The open road, the wind in your hair, the feeling of freedom that drives us to go out and discover. At Chevy, we're committed to getting you there with confidence and peace of mind. That's why your Chevy Clean dealers commit to using enhanced vehicle cleaning measures with CDC-approved cleansers. If you need a new Equinox, get 0% APR for 72 months or $4,500 cash allowance on most models. You may even shop online and take delivery at home where available, so you can find new roads with confidence.
When you're in a car wreck, you know who to call.
Call Hughes and Coleman.
800-800-4600.
Studies show people who call a lawyer on average get up to 3 times more money.
That's a lot of shakes.
Hughes and Coleman. 800-800-4600.
We asked real customers what they really love about Spectrum Internet and TV.
Spectrum Internet has the fastest speeds for everything I do.
There is no turning wheel. It's immediate.
Spectrum is the fastest. Bam.
Get the fastest download speeds with the most reliable performance with Spectrum Internet, delivering starting speeds of 100 megabits. That's more than enough for all your devices for $44.99 a month. Call 833-906-4499.
I can't get over how much on-demand Spectrum has. I can literally watch a new movie every night.
I got all my shows, and he's got all his shows.
With the Spectrum TV app, I can watch live TV anywhere. It's perfect.
Add Spectrum TV and enjoy more free HD and more free on demand. Plus, use the Spectrum TV app to watch live TV on the go, all from $44.99 a month. Call 833-906-4499.
The fact that they don't have contracts, that says a lot about their service.
Get Spectrum Internet and TV from $44.99 a month each with no contracts. Install Spectrum services yourself. Get a self-installation kit shipped right to your home. Call 833-906-4499.
Get your Storm Tracker forecast on Nash FM 92.9.
The heroes at Comfort Heating and Air put up some super numbers, like Super Service Awards 10 years in a row, 12-year no-hassle replacement warranties, and new systems as low as $89 a month. Super numbers from a super company. Call the Comfort Man today, and I'll be on my way.
Still muggy out there. So we get a live look from the Bluegrass Community and Technical College. So it's here at the Cooper campus looking back toward Kroger Field. You can see the cars over there toward the blue lot, where all the action is going on with the polling places. You can see the partly sunny sky. We had some storms pass through earlier. Those have now pushed on off to the east. Max Track Live Doppler. You see the last of the thunder showers. Well, a couple of them still trying to pop up here in northern Kentucky, but our main batch is now passing Cave Run Lake just from Clearfield down to almost Moorhead, continuing in the northern part of Morgan County. You've got more that have just gone through Salyerville. Those are headed toward Johnson and Floyd counties off to the east and away. Decent downpour right on the Hal Rogers Parkway there in Leslie County, just to the west of Hyde. And again, everything here pushing off to the east and away. And over the last 6 hours, you watch the first line of showers that came through this morning head off to the east. The secondary line that was ahead of the cold front, a little lightning and thunder with it. But again, we're starting to dry things out as we look back to the north and west. So tonight and tomorrow, it's the invasion of pleasant air. That's a nice thing to talk about. In the weekend, a stalling front means the muggies and storms will come back. And in the 8-day, it's a pretty typical summer look for us. Overall rain chances decrease for us tomorrow. There may be a stray shower south and east tomorrow, but it's a really small chance. I think all of us really do stay dry on Thursday. Ramp up the rain chances, especially towards Sunday. Looks like a pretty wet day at this point. Now your front is coming through, and it will do its job. Primarily, it's going to knock the mugginess out of the air. We get you through tonight into tomorrow morning. That's pushing off to the east. There will be some clouds around tomorrow. We'll call it a partly sunny day. Again, that stray shower chance, it's minimal. Then the high really does continue to build in, and our weather looks good for us going on into Thursday. So what does the front do for us? Remember, when we look at our dew point numbers, when it's 60 and above, it's humid. When it's 65 and above, it's muggy. Well, we're watching the drier air take over. When you see those dew point numbers that are in the 50s, that's when life is pretty comfortable. We see that through tonight into tomorrow. Bottom line is, this is another nice Canadian air mass coming in that will replace this. It is muggy right now. You walk out the door, you feel it. You see those dew points up around 70, Jackson and Owingsville. But look it up in northern Kentucky. Those lower 60 dew points are working their way in. Temperatures now are falling in the upper 70s and low 80s. It really is not a bad afternoon at all. Bluegrass Airport, we do sit at 79, but you notice the wind has shifted to the northwest. The front has come through. That dew point number is on the way down. What's on the way in? The Saharan dust layer. And if we could get a reverb with that, that would be really terrific. But over the weekend, we may see some glorious sunsets if we see the sun, and then that'll eventually work its way on out. Again, that's something that happens almost every year, maybe not to this degree, but it is something that does occur. So for tonight, thunder showers end early. It's cooler and less humid. We drop down to around 60. Tomorrow it's 80. A very isolated thunder shower possible. Just about all of us stay dry. Low 80s, a terrific day Thursday. Thunderstorm chances start ramping up on Friday. We stay in the 80s through the 8-day.
All right, Bill, thank you. The funeral for Rashard Brooks took place today in Atlanta, Georgia. The private service was held at Ebenezer Baptist Church, the same church where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. preached. The Reverend Raphael Warnock delivered the eulogy. Brooks was shot and killed June 12th during a confrontation with Atlanta police officers in a Wendy's parking lot. His death sparked nationwide outrage and protests. Some mourners gathered outside Ebenezer Baptist to watch the service.
In honor of Rashard Brooks and countless others, don't stop until it matters that dignity, justice, and equity are a reality for all Black lives. Rashard Brooks' death will not be in vain, because justice will roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream.
According to a family attorney, entertainment mogul Tyler Perry, who is from Atlanta, is covering the cost for today's memorial service. Several corrections officers where former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is being held in connection with the killing of George Floyd say they were briefly barred from his floor. The 8 guards say it happened on the day Chauvin was booked into the jail, and they say it was all because of their skin color. Chauvin, who is white, knelt on Floyd's neck for nearly 9 minutes during an arrest in Minneapolis that ultimately led to the death of Mr. Floyd. The corrections facility superintendent says he reversed his decision within an hour, but the 8 employees involved say they were humiliated by what they called the segregation order. They have filed discrimination charges with the Minnesota Department of Human Rights. There's still time to get out and cast your vote in person at Kroger Field. Polls are open until 6 tonight. And still ahead, as we continue LEX 18 News at 4, we have more on the encouraging news when it comes to home sales during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Ashley Home Store Stars and Stripes sale is going on now. Get 0% financing for 5 years with 3 months payment assistance. Or save 20% off store-wide, Friday to Sunday only. Book an in-store or virtual appointment today. Ashley Home Store. This is home.
Dinner with the Drakes tonight? Alexa, ask Buick to start my Encore GX. Four fillets.
You know this dinner's for their
Kids. Thanks for watching them.
Where's the pizza?
The first ever Buick Encore GX. Right now, get $2,000 purchase allowance on the first ever Buick Encore GX.
Visit your Bluegrass Buick dealer today.
This is a scary time. Workers are losing their jobs.
If you don't think you'll ever go back to work because of your health, we can help you with Social Security disability.
At Morgan, Collins, East, and Salyer, we want you to be safe. Let us help you over the phone.
You may be home, but you're not alone. We'll still fight for you.
What do we call neighbors helping neighbors? Kentucky Courage.
Morgan, Collins, Yeast, and Salyer. Call 1-800-55-WILDCAT.
I knew I had a vision problem when I was watching basketball games, and I would have to ask my friends the score of the game because I could not see the numbers on the TV. So after coming in and consulting with Dr. Duty regarding my cataracts, I learned that I could have Cataract Plus surgery, which would put in a premium lens that would improve my vision tremendously. So now I don't have to bug my friends at all about seeing those basketball scores.
For details, visit cataractsplus.com.
I am a real customer of Bryant Heating and Cooling, and I have been now for 11 years. Why do I do this? Because Bryant has always been here for me. I've had units go down, but when I called them, they were here, and they never left my home until I was comfortable. My system gets regular maintenance to keep it running efficiently. I know that my air conditioner is going to perform its best, even in the worst conditions. But if it doesn't, Bryant will be here. That's why I do this.
30 seconds on the clock. Mimo has the ball. Here comes the double team. She's in a trap. Little Jack with the steal, and he's off on the fast break. Oh, wait, they've called a foul. Jack is livid. Jack may be headed to the showers.
Ashley Home Store Stars and Stripes sale is going on now. For a limited time, find huge savings up to 50% off. Get this upholstered sofa now only $249. Contact us today to set up an in-store or virtual appointment. Ashley Home Store. This is home.
The simplest way to prevent the spread of COVID-19, wash your hands. Here are a few tips to get it done right from the CDC. First, wet your hands with clean running water. Now apply the soap to your hands. Lather by rubbing them together. Make sure you get the backs of your hands. You've got to make sure you scrub for at least 20 seconds.
Keep it simple. Sponsored by P-Rats.
Welcome back to LEX 18 News at 4. Surprise! New home sales rose last month. The Commerce Department reports sales of new single-family homes rose 16.6% in May. That was a much better performance than expected. Analysts say the numbers suggest the reopening of major sections of the country, giving a boost to the housing market. New home sales are counted once a sales contract is signed, making them a lending housing market indicator. The median sale price for new homes sold in May was just under $318,000. Plant-based meat imitations like the Impossible Burger have made their way into restaurants worldwide. And now they're also popping up in coffee houses. Starting today, Java lovers nationwide can try out Starbucks' new Impossible Breakfast Sandwich. It's part of Starbucks' summer menu, which includes the new cold brew with cinnamon almond milk foam and cold brew with dark cocoa almond milk foam. The sandwich features Impossible Brand's plant-based sausage with cage-free fried egg, aged cheddar cheese, and ciabatta bread. According to Starbucks, the addition is in response to a, quote, growing customer interest in plant-based options. More time at home means more people are joining subscription services. A new study from Deloitte of media consumption highlights the impact of COVID-19. 80% of consumers now subscribe to a paid video streaming service, and subscribers now pay for an average of 4 services. That's up from 3 services before the pandemic. People are also switching services, and 17% of subscribers have canceled a video service since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. And on-demand movies are taking off, with Paramount taking note. Variety is reporting the studio will release the SpongeBob movie Sponge on the Run direct to consumers. According to a recent survey, 22% of all people and more than a third of millennials paid to watch a first-run movie on a streaming service during the pandemic. 90% say they would pay to watch another one. Paramount's decision comes after Universal successfully released Trolls World Tour direct to consumers. My daughter enjoyed it too. Thanks for watching. More coverage of Decision 2020 coming up on LEX 18 News at 5. See you then.